Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson, and this week we've got another brand new show for you. We're going to take you up to the UP and talk to a brand new group that was just formed to help save the UP's deer population. But before we get to that, Jimmy's got some other fun stuff for us too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We are pretty excited for that story above the bridge, but we are going to start on this week's show with one of our last rabbit hunts of the year. I was recently out with a father and son team, and we were on a great piece of property on a beautiful day. You won't want to miss that. We're also going to stop in with our contest winner for the most unique ice shanty here in the state of Michigan, and we're going to show you a product that if you've ever hunted out of a climbing tree stand, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for that. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger, and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream. It's the love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Vanguard, a global manufacturer based in Michigan featuring rifle scopes, binoculars, and spotting scopes with lifetime warranties. Vanguard supplies sporting optics and accessories for the outdoor enthusiast, online at vanguardworld.com. By Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen.
We all have one, that perfect spot, a special place we go to smooth out the ripples of the day. Our perfect spot is calling. Our perfect spot is Pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
Last week I hit the woods for what is probably my last rabbit hunt of the season, and I was really looking forward to hitting the woods today on a perfect day to be outside.
What's our plan of attack here today?
Basically we're just walking around brush piles, and the dog, she'll go in there, get the rabbits out.
Okay.
She'll run them. If we don't shoot them, she'll run them in a complete circle, look them back to us, and we'll shoot it, and she'll retrieve it back to us, so
Nice.
she'll bring it right back.
And how old is this dog?
She's 3.5.
3.5. Pretty good little rabbit dog, eh?
Yeah, very good.
And how often do you get out doing this?
I normally go, for sure on the weekends, I'll try to get out a couple times during the week too. Now we got that puppy, I'm working on training her too, so
Okay.
try to get out as much as I can.
So Cody and his dad Mark had contacted me and said not only did they have a good dog, but some great property. And let me tell you, they were right on both counts.
Get your bunny. Get your bunny. Good girl.
Gee whiz. I think I winged it. She'll get it. Yeah, I think so.
Well, did we get that one?
I think we winged them, so I think we did. We'll find out here in a
We
minute.
got to upgrade that 410 to a 12 gauge.
Even though it took a few shots, the guys did manage to put enough into the rabbit. And with good dogs, they found their prize.
So you got a retrieving dog there for rabbits.
Yep.
That doesn't happen too often.
Yeah. I got that rabbit sent at the store and put it in the sock,
Okay.
and I played fetch with her in the house for a few weeks, and I got her going on that. She
Really?
started bringing them back, so.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, we got one in the bag.
One in the bag.
Cody had said his beagle would retrieve, and to be honest, I wasn't sure whether to believe him or not. I've only seen one beagle do that, and fortunately we would have a few more times to see it.
If you, can you see it?
Yeah.
Get it?
We had several times today that what looked like a miss actually was just enough to slow the rabbit down. And with good dogs, they were able to find them for us on this great piece of property.
This spot looked pretty promising for rabbits. It's really thick and a lot of briars in there, stuff that we don't like. But yeah, I found out who owned it, drove down, talked to him. Ended up being a real friendly guy, said we can hunt it anytime we want. So I think they just like being in the thicker stuff, so they feel safer in there maybe. Predators can't get to them.
Because this property is so thick, there are so many places for rabbits to hide. We did have our fair share of jumped rabbits, quick shots, and not much to show for it as well.
Missed him.
Where was he?
Right under here. Greg. There he goes.
This was a picture-perfect setup that at first seemed to have gotten away from us.
Must have been too open of a shot.
I got the only tree out there.
Once again, enough shot got through the brush, and we had found another bunny for the bag.
Good girl. Good girl.
Well, we did get it.
Hit it.
Now I have to take back me making fun of your shooting. That's a nice big rabbit.
Yeah, they're big in this field here.
Right?
Well, how we doing, young man?
We got 4 in here now.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, good morning.
We barely even got to where we were trying to get to yet.
I know. Only came about 1/8 of it. So.
Jeez, boy, this perfect habitat, and these dogs are really working well.
Yep. Doing what they're supposed to.
Good deal.
Today was one of those days you really look forward to. Getting to meet a father and son team that loves to hunt together. Spending time outside on one of those days where the warm sun feels so good, but yet you're walking through a foot or more of snow. Chasing beagles from pile to pile, I'm telling you, it was as good of a day as you can have in March.
We have to get another vest.
Get him, Bella. Get in there, Copper.
Get him, Bella.
Bella, get in there. Get the bunny, girl. Good girl. Get the bunny.
Hey!
Holding pretty tight today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this little dog worked hard today, found a lot of scent, and showed me a hunt which is one of the better ones I have been on this year.
How did you know that there was one in there?
Basically, Bella goes up to a pile if it's real thick like that, and she has a certain howl that she does, and she'll do that howl and we'll walk up to it and she'll wait for us to get there, and then she'll go in there and flush it out to us.
Just like textbook.
Yep.
Nice shot.
Thank you.
So what is the takeaway from this hunt? Well, first off, when you spend a lot of time taking your kids hunting, they at some point do return the favor and take you hunting. It also made me think just how lucky we are here in this great state. Today we were chasing bunnies in the snow-covered thicket. In a few short weeks we will be chasing steelhead in rivers filled with melting snow. Then chasing turkeys in the spring woods. We as Michiganders are one lucky group of sportsmen and women. Thanks to Cody and Mark for a memorable day in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Well, spring has finally sprung here in Michigan, but just a few weeks ago, before all the snow started melting up in the UP, we stopped in to visit with a couple of guys who helped start a brand new group up there, and it's designed to help the UP deer population survive through these harsh winters we've been having. With all the thousands of acres of land in the Upper Peninsula, you'd think the deer up here would have no problem finding a place to live. But when it comes to the harsh UP winters, not much of the land here is useful to whitetails. With steadily declining deer numbers in the UP, a group has been formed to try and improve winter habitat for the whitetails here.
We put together a UP habitat work group, and basically what we're looking at is, as you can see around us, we're into our third brutal winter in a row, and what we had looked at is we have to find ways to take the habitat we have in the Upper Peninsula and maintain it or enhance it. So, you know, how it originated was, I was doing a flyover and we were looking at wolf and moose populations, and I was looking down at the habitat and I could see a lot of the softwood was being harvested for various reasons. And up here, what you need is you have a limited amount of deer range habitat. And what was quite clear to me when I was in the air is we had to do something to start to save that habitat. So I got in a conversation with Jim Hamill, who I knew had a true passion for that, and I said, let's start the UP Habitat Work Group out. And he thought that was a good idea, so we set out to get the right people in the room, you know, the people who owned the land or had access to or did the forest management plans on those properties. So he thought that was a good idea, so Jim went and recruited the people that we needed. The first thing we had to do was figure out exactly where the deer yards were in the UP. So we worked with the foresters and we worked with the biologists, and we sat down and we discussed where the habitat is. And once we found that, put it on some maps.
The Habitat Work Group identified 57 different areas that deer have traditionally used in the winter. The group is made up of 13 people who represent forestry and wildlife professionals, as well as different sportsmen's groups across the Upper Peninsula. Jim Hamill showed me a spot near Crystal Falls where the cedar and hemlock trees make a big difference in the amount of snow that hits the ground, something the deer look for in the winter months.
Most of the deer in the Upper Peninsula migrate from summer range to winter range. Sometimes those migrations will be pretty substantial distances of maybe even 40 or 50 miles from summer, where they spend the spring, summer, and fall, until when winter conditions set in, they move and get into this historical winter range of theirs. The average distance that a deer moves from summer range to winter range is about 9 miles here in the UP. So all of the deer today, 100% of the deer in the Upper Peninsula live on only 17% of the land base, because they're all restricted to these deer winter complexes that historically we've called deer yards. And it's the habitat condition in those deer yards that we are looking to improve. If we cannot do that, I think the future for deer hunting and deer, just all uses of deer, people love to see deer, is very bleak here in the Upper Peninsula.
A combination of extremely cold winters, record snowfall, growing predator numbers, and shrinking winter habitat have slashed the UP deer population from around 700,000 in 1994 to around 200,000 today.
Here in the Upper Peninsula, if you don't have quality winter range, the survival of whitetails is really deeply in question. I feel this is one of the most difficult places in the United States to manage whitetails. And the reason is because of the severity of our winters. It's sort of the perfect storm working against whitetails. We have declining winter habitat conditions, high predator loads, and with that combination, we've seen what the results are. Our culture here in the Upper Peninsula has a lot to do with white-tailed deer. Many people up here, of course, grew up hunting deer or seeing deer all the time. And I think a substantial loss in deer, further loss in deer, really threatens the culture of the Upper Peninsula. And that, to me, is a tragedy.
With the deer population in jeopardy, many folks are stepping in to help. The Safari Club International Foundation has donated a large sum of money to help with hiring a full-time DNR employee to tackle some of the duties of the program. In order to manage deer yards as if they were one big habitat area, the work group is considering a number of options, including buying easements, using SCI Foundation and Natural Resources Trust Fund monies, and even trading land with those who are planning to harvest trees in the winter range.
So there are 13 of us that have been working toward the idea of reconditioning our deer winter range across the entire Upper Peninsula. That's going to be a big job, and no single entity can do this alone. For example, the state of Michigan, with all the acreage that they own here in the Upper Peninsula, only owns about 20% of the deer yard acreage. The corporate timberlands own another significant share of deer yard acreage. The U.S. Forest Service owns another share of deer yard acreage, but even put all together, they only own 50%, but all those owners only own 50% of the deer yard acreage. The other 50% is owned by people like you and me, private landowners. So the goal of this group is to try to put together a coordinated program of education for private landowners, of outreach to private landowners, to tell them what they can do if they want to preserve deer winter range, and to work with corporate, federal, and state landowners to manage for best conditions for whitetails in the winter in these 57 specific deer yards across the entire Upper Peninsula.
A deadly combination of weather, predators, and tree harvest have taken a huge toll on our UP deer population over the years, but with an educated plan of attack, the UP Habitat Work Group is hoping to turn things around. We'll keep you posted in the coming months and years to see how their work is impacting our treasured deer herd here in the Upper Peninsula.
Well, over the last month or so, we've been running a unique ice shanty competition, actually on our Facebook page, and we had hundreds of people send in pictures of their ice shacks. We whittled that down to 3, and then had you, the viewer, vote on Facebook of what you thought was the most unique ice shanty here in the state of Michigan. Last week, we made the trip to the Cadillac area with some great prizes in hand to award to Greg Wilson, the winner of our most unique ice shanty. We'd hoped to get on the water, but the conditions were not that great, so we got a tour at Greg's home. Okay, well, we are here just outside the Cadillac area with Greg Wilson, who won our most unique ice shanty competition, kind of a new thing for us this year. Greg, now tell me, how did you, before we even get into how this whole thing works, how did you get the idea for this thing?
Well, I was sent an email by an uncle of mine. It was an old YouTube video of a guy, old 80-year-old guy in Minnesota made one similar to this.
Okay.
So I kind of ran with his idea, gathered my own parts that I had around the farm, and bought a few off Craigslist, and kind of threw it together.
Well, so kind of walk me through. So people, you know, we're going to try to get some of this on camera, but this looks to me like the front end of a garden tractor.
Yep, that's a 1985 16-horse wheel horse. My father bought it brand new in 1985, and it's been in the family ever since, and it's been sitting in my barn for 10 years or better, unused, so I had that around. And that's always started. I knew it was good tractor. And
so then you got some snowmobile parts on this as well,
right?
Yep,
them come off of a 1983 Yamaha SRV that I had laying around, which I had to shorten them, of course, to be able to fit everything and make them better. And then the track systems.
Yeah, so you got a track.
Yep, there's 2 track systems on this, one on each side.
So each from an old snowmobile?
Yep, they're both from old 1972 and 1973 moto skis. And I went with the bogey wheel suspension, just because I could run it on ice without the having to lubricate the sliders. And
now the reason we don't have it on the ice right now, I mean, there is still some good ice. We were going to go ice fishing, but this is more of a, you take it out to the lake maybe once or twice a year. It's not an everyday type of unit.
No, I do not hauling it every time. It's a little bit much. It takes an 18-foot trailer to haul it. And so we like to bring it out and leave it right on the nearby local lakes, and then just park it on shore. Then we can just drive out there. And
you said it goes about as fast as you can walk, kind of a thing?
As fast as you can walk. Next year it'll be much faster.
You gotta soup it up for next year.
We're getting it.
Well, here, come on
some
around.
Chassis adjustments.
Let's see the inside of this thing, and we'll get. So now, it looks like you've got a fair amount of room in here. So explain to me can you put all your stuff in here when you're hauling it down the road, or?
Basically we would put that in the back of the truck, or a lot of the stuff will fit in here and ride good.
Okay.
But a lot of stuff will go in the back of the truck, and basically we take it out when we go fishing, or when we leave it on the lake when we're done fishing.
Okay.
And just not everybody's as honest as the next guy, so we don't leave a lot of stuff in the shanty.
Right. Well, so you got enough room, and so this is kind of a two-man shack, basically?
Yeah, yep. Fits 2 people in here. There are 2 holes right here, and 2 holes there, or 1, whatever you're more comfortable with using electronics and stuff.
Oh, and you got insulation in here?
Yep.
Now, you said something about your neighbor was kind of some motivation for this whole thing. He said, there's no way you can build this thing?
My old farmer neighbor down the road said it'd take me 10 years to build one. It took me 7. 7 days.
7 days. Wow. Well, this is pretty slick. So what kind of modifications you say you're going to make for next year then? Other than stove, maybe?
Well, for this, the stove, we're going to put some nice, actually put sheathing on the inside of it.
Okay.
And get it all painted up, and I want to change the drive pulley around to get just a little more speed.
Okay.
A little more speed out of it. It's about like a garden tractor mowing the lawn right now, but I want faster.
Wow. So it took you 7 days to put this whole thing together?
Yep.
Wow.
I had her rolling around the yard in 7 days.
Okay.
So then me and Ken come over, and he helped me finish up get all the framing together. He's a builder, so he's a whiz at this kind of stuff.
So this really does well on cold days, though, eh? This
Yeah.
keeps you nice and toasty and nice. Wow. Well, I'd say for our first year for unique ice shanties, this has got to take the cake. So congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, this is a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
Special thanks to Greg for letting us see his very unique ice shanty. Thanks to our friends at Greenstone for helping out with the prize packages. And we will be running a similar competition this fall, only it will be directed towards the most unique deer blind in the state of Michigan. Just something to keep in mind as we get closer to the hunting seasons. Well, as you can see, there was a lot of ingenuity that went into that ice shanty. And speaking of ingenuity and the Michigan sportsman, we're going to sit down with a guy right now who actually came up with a product to help him and his kids have a little bit more fun and be a little bit safer when they're using their climbing tree stands. I have hunted from climbing tree stands for years, and if you have, you're going to be interested in this product that one Michigander came up with to make climbing a bit easier.
All right, well, name of the product is Papa Todd's Outdoor Products. It's called the Bootstrap. Started several years ago, actually, when I first started using the climber, and had to figure out there had to be a better way. With just the little strap that went across the back, I didn't feel safe at all. And then as my kids started using climbers and whatnot, I thought, well, we got to be able to make this a much safer climb for them. So I went on ahead and invented something that was similar to this, but over the years it's kind of evolved into what we have here today, which is the Bootstrap. Well, the biggest problem that you have when using the climbing tree stand is keeping your heels to the ground. And as you climb, when you lift, your heels will come up, okay? So that's where a majority of your climbing power comes from. And the Bootstrap allows you to navigate up and down the tree by keeping your heels tight to the stand. But it allows you the versatility of still being able to use, which we do recommend, with the front of the stand to keep your toes down. So like I said, it works pretty slick. Yeah, I started about 10 years ago, and we first started out with just a circle metal that came off the back of the strap, and that turned out to be quite loud. Okay, so we ended up going to the quick connects in a way to connect it to the stand. The nice part about this is the versatility with the stand itself, or with straps. It doesn't matter whether we have a webbing like this or you have the bar.
We have lots of products that come across our radar, and the ones that we put on the air are ones that I think folks would genuinely like, and these quick release straps fall into that category. Climbers are a great way to hunt and cover new areas, and anything that makes that process easier is of interest. For more info, stay tuned to the credits for contact info for Todd's Outdoor Products.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you check us out online when you get a chance. You can do it a couple of different ways. You can visit us on our website at michiganoutofdoorstv.com or on our Facebook page at Michigan Out of Doors TV. Lots of fun stuff going on our Facebook page and on our website, and lots of fun stuff coming up here on the show over the next few weeks.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Lots of good stuff coming over the next few weeks here on Michigan Out of Doors. We're going to be rounding out our wintertime activity, and then we're going to be right into our 2 big buck nights. In fact, actually, thanks to everybody that was a part of the Ultimate Sports Show Big Buck Night West last week. We're going to be airing those the first couple of weeks in April, and then after that, we're right into the turkey season. It's hard to believe how quick things change here in the state of Michigan. Lots of good stuff coming over the next few weeks. So if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore with its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses. Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises on the web at picturedrocks.com. By Propane, Clean American Energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com. By Marvo Mineral, makers of Lucky Buck, deer management products including minerals to supplement deer diets year-round to improve health and antler growth. Michigan made for over 18 years, Lucky Buck on the web at luckybuck.com. By Showspan, producing consumer shows that include the Ultimate Sports Show in Grand Rapids. Over 350 exhibitors, outdoor gear, boats, seminars, Lake Ultimate, and Big Buck Night. The Ultimate Sports Show at the DeVos Place in Grand Rapids. Closed captioning is provided by the Michigan Propane Gas Association, Clean American Energy. Propane realtors promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas to outdoor enthusiasts across our great state.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. George.